and that gives us suffering, and individually everybody will have that anger which comes from passive aggression. So by knowing how we are getting these things, and by getting the knowledge around it, and by purely being in the awareness, and in the meditative state, when we get a thought, when we are in the situation or an event, definitely helps us identify and uh, like identify the feeling associated with it, and also we can work on it with a conscious mindset. And this suffering that we talked about yesterday is a choice. So healing can happen with the awareness, as I mentioned. So the questions that we need to ask is, how long you have to suffer in this loop? That is the first question we can ask. And next thing is, the question that we need to ask ourselves is like, what are we getting out of it? So we have to stop that suffering. So we have to break that chain. So what are my identifications? If we ask that question every day, we can definitely come out of it. Thank you so much. And we can start with today.
Thank you, madam. Thank you for the wonderful recap. It's truly a great opportunity, masters. We are it's a very good idea to have a recap every day, mentors. If you're able to do that, that's a very good idea, actually. Kudos.
I was running, master. I was into it myself.
Thank you very much. It's a very good idea to recap what happened yesterday, just for everyone to come to the terms as to what we have done and what we're going to do today.
Yes, absolutely.
So, thank you, madam. Please do switch on your videos again. Attention, presence, and comfort hearing is a very good opportunity. So please keep your videos on. Don't get distracted. This knowledge, what we are talking here, you will not be able to process it if you are distracted. You have to be attentive, you have to be focused, and you have to be present. Then only you will receive this practical knowledge. This is a practical session. Now, there was a question that came out yesterday and the day before, right? Hey, how is this different from other sessions? I want to take a minute to address it. This session, what we are doing here is the healing by using truth. Truth, healing with the truth. I don't know if any of you have gone through the truth specific aspects of healing. When you are actually in the path of truth, when you start to realize whatever you are trying to do, you will quickly understand that you are the awareness. This session is all about awareness. The 11 days, what we are trying to do is we are trying to become what we are not. All the healing methods that you see out there, even the astral healing and whatever the Reiki healing, and you probably would have heard a lot of different, the medical healing that you do, allopathy, everything assumes that you are the identity, and it is only a band-aid, right? It is only a temporary fix that they provide. Truth healing is a permanent fix for the eternity of your life. However many lifetimes you plan to take, that soul will not go through that lesson again. You're done. So tomorrow we're going to talk about the beautiful concept of karma and how karma, we're not just talking about karma, we're talking about karma as an aspect and a karma as a pattern, and how do we release karma through truth. So that is why this is practical. We are not here to learn about it. We are not here to try to patch it. We are not here sitting to know about the past of it, the present of it, the future of it. You are here to experience the truth as it is. That's why this is a very, very important to have your attention, to have your time, energy together. Because whenever we are doing the practical experience, whatever you are getting in the session is a way of release. right then and there. We have seen yesterday, madam came to the session and she got relieved of the pain, whatever she had, right? And then a couple of you have sent text messages saying that, this is like instantly things are working for me and all that, right? The reason why it is all working is you are actually becoming that truth, what it is out there. You are loosening your identity. The moment you lose your identity, the false identity, what is there is healing. That's it. It's a natural thing to happen. So with that, let's get into the day 3 of the progress, right? Today we will talk. Yesterday we spoke about suffering, thanks to Srilata madam, she was able to recap it. And today we talk about emotional energy, and then the way you need to do the conscious observation. Now, by far, whatever we talked yesterday, whatever we spoke day before, it was only an abstract of the information. We understood what suffering is all about, what is the identity. Now we get into the aspect of what is the most strongest element that gives me the suffering, which is emotion. We all know emotion is nothing but energy in motion, right? Please make a note today. Always keep a notebook and a pen with you, because you have to write a lot of these things, whatever we are talking here. It's an important information that you will have to revisit again and again, right? So what are we trying to do today? We all know about emotion. Why do we need to talk about it? Emotion, we are transforming. Here, what we are doing is, as a practical exercise, we are going to transform the emotion without suppression or expression. That's what we're going to do. Transforming emotion without suppression or expression, right? How does the emotion become suffering? When you resist an emotion, it becomes suffering. When you suppress an emotion, it becomes suffering. And when you are fused and believe that you are the identity, like we spoke yesterday, then you have suffering. Emotion as an emotion is a very neutral. It is basically a biological intelligence that is happening in my system in a very, methodical way, as a source, as the target. As I get a thought, I have an emotion connected to that thought. It is a natural thing. But why that emotion is creating suffering for me is because whatever that thing is coming out, I am either suppressing it, I am either resisting it, or I am putting an identity towards it. When we do any of these things, then you create the suffering towards that. So, in a neutral terms, if we talk, just take emotion as an emotion, we have to see that emotions are not problems. What are emotions? Emotions are unprocessed energies that get created as part of a triggering mechanism. So it is very easy to say, okay, emotion is bringing suffering because we are resisting it, we are suppressing it, we have an identity. How do I get out of it? Right? And that's what we're going to practice today. How do you get out of it? By identifying an emotion. And when you associate yourself with an emotion, how that looks like. We will have a practical exercise later part of the session here. Right? So you have a trigger. With a trigger starts an emotion that you create the emotion within you. The moment that emotion gets created, you have a resistance towards that emotion. What happens when you resist that emotion? It creates a block in your system, which continuously gets you into that suffering mode. I'll give you examples, right? We spoke about anger, so I'm going to use anger as a good example to talk. When your emotion is anger, okay? If you hold the anger, if you express the anger the way it should be expressed, then it is not going to bind you. It will just release it. But what happens most of the time is either you hold that anger to yourself, saying that internally you get very agitated or you get uncomfortable. Okay, you don't want to release it, so you resist it, or you suppress the aspect of the anger, right? then what happens is that anger creates a block. That block is nothing but stress. When anger as an emotion gets suppressed, it creates stress in the system. Same thing happens, in the lower emotion like fear. When you get fear, when you are afraid of something, some of the unknown factors, you are afraid of unknown factors. What happens when you suppress your fear? The blockage that it creates when you suppress fear is anxiety. The reason why you are getting anxiety is because you are suppressing the emotion called fear. What happens when you worry or suffer? Sadness, in a simple term, sadness. When I have an emotion called sadness, if I don't release that emotion, what happens is that sadness goes into depression. It goes into agony. It creates an infinite loop within me that I won't be able to come out of it. I always try to be on my own. I don't want to come back into the normal life. Because you keep repeating yourself, something happened in the past, you are stuck in that past. Where is that sadness? That sadness is your emotion. Now, let us look at the bright side. What happens when you observe this? Because we are here to learn the truth. How do I release using the truth as a permanent solution to this? Whenever we have anger, if I observe anger, it releases. Whatever you observe, it has to transform. That's the truth. That's the law. So when you observe your anger, it releases. When you observe your fear, instead of becoming anxiety, the fear is dissolved. And when you observe your sadness, okay, with the awareness, when you observe your sadness, it softens. It softens. And eventually you'll come out of it. So if I put a concept to this, right? Okay, tell me in one word, how does this whole thing work, right? For everyone who is not in that state of awareness, what happens is it is an emotion plus the unconscious state. The combination of that emotion, whatever it is, and then the unconscious state that you are dwelling in is nothing but suffering. That is suffering. But if I have that emotion, the same emotion, and I bring my awareness with that, instead of being unconscious, if I am being aware in that moment, then it is liberation. It is as such a simplistic thing, but yet we all suffer because of emotions. And emotion is by factor the most strongest element that brings you whatever it brings you. Your subconscious mind only understands the language of feeling, and the feeling is all emotion. So it is extremely important that today's session is understood to the core of it. If you have any questions, if you are not following it, if you need more guidance or more information, do reach out to your mentors. Take the opportunity to talk to your mentors. They can give you more insights into this. So when I am trying to bring something into my life and that life triggering has created an emotion, instead of looking the emotion as an emotion, if I am trying to resist it or whatever I'm trying to do it is creating a block, and that block is creating some kind of an uncomfortable state for me. Because of the unconscious state of resistance or suppression or identity, it is creating that kind of a triggering, activity within me, which is making me suffer. Right? Now, where is the healing? Is when you release that emotion as an emotion, is when you heal. And there is also an aspect where you're over expressing your emotions in some cases. What are the three common mistakes we do? One is we inherently suppress our emotions. Even though you have, like, if two people are talking, there is a conversation going on, there is some emotion that has to come out, we suppress it, we don't want to say it, or we overexpress it, we overreact to a situation, or you become the emotion in that state of conversation and you get carried away. What is happening is, because of one of these things we are carrying, the reinforcement of suffering ultimately keeps happening, keeps happening, keeps happening. It is not only happening while the conversation is happening, even after the conversation is over, you come home, you still have that. Next day, you will, whenever you remember this moment, you will continue to have that emotional imbalance. So it is absolutely essential to understand, how do I become a conscious observer? Right? Emotion does not have category like a good emotion, bad emotion, worst emotion, this and that. Emotion is an emotion. As you see, whatever may be your triggering mechanism, that triggering mechanism has an event. That is emotion. That's it. At that point, that is just an emotion. The good, the bad, the ugly, the worst, you are defining however you want to define. Okay, I want to be overexcited. Okay, so what? You can be overexcited. It is okay. It's not gonna make you feel, sad about it, but you are overexcited. Overexcitement is also not good, because mind takes you into that higher state, and then it kind of builds all that expectations with you. It creates a lot of imagination, and over time things will start to come down, normalize for you, and then you come to the reality and you feel like, oh wow, I was in a dream state, now I'm back into the normal state. So if you look at it, the sensation aspect of it, when the emotion is coming in sensational aspect of it. What happens is, when that comes as a sensation, you start to label that emotion. That labeling is where good, bad, and all that is comes. And most of the times what happens is, we put an emotion, and emotion always carries a story to support it. Yesterday we spoke about it, why is my 5-second conversation becoming a 5 days issue? Is because I am holding through a story. Whenever you hold it through a story, it amplifies. That emotion amplifies, outbursts. So most of the suffering aspect of emotion happens after you label that. Your body is signaling to you in number of different ways. Your body is saying that, okay, as an example, my chest is very tight. What does it mean? The signal it means is, I am anxious. Something is wrong. The sensation is, I am anxious. Then you start to label yourself, and then try to create a story. Something is wrong, and then you go into that story. And then what happens? It amplifies as panic. Now you'll start to have panic attacks. But if I take a same example, my chest is very tight, I am anxious, right? You take the same scenario, I am anxious aspect, and then you see it as awareness, right? My chest is very tight. Now, when you see as awareness, you observe the sensation. When you observe the sensation, it will transform. What is the transformation? It dissolves naturally. Instead of having something is wrong, instead of going through that anxiety and getting a panic attack, you have just dissolved that very naturally, just observing it. Okay, what happened here? So recognizing that what you are trying to do here is, you are trying to disidentify yourself from that aspect of emotion. And you are looking at it as if that, okay, it is happening, right? If you really look at the scientific study, the research suggests, right, unresisted emotional waves naturally rise and fall within us, right? Unresisted emotions naturally rise and fall 60 to 90 seconds. Any emotion that comes to you, that wave, whatever triggering, the trigger happens and the wave comes in, it is within you. The rise and fall happens between 60 and 90 seconds. Then what is that prolonging? What is prolonging it? Is my mental narrative. I'm putting a story. So something you should let go in 60 to 90 seconds, you are stuck with it years. So when we start to realize that what I am going through and what I am getting into, you have a clear clarity about that, then you have an opportunity to bring your awareness and you start to observe it. The moment you observe it, it dissolves naturally. No emotion can stay permanently unless you have a story, unless you label and create a story for it. And the reason why we enjoy creating that emotion again and again, again and again, again and again, is we always love to be in the known perimeter of life. The mental state does not want to go into unknown perimeter. It always wants, even that is pain, even it gives me pain, I still want to be connected to the known parameter. That's why the label, the story, the narrative, all that is happening again and again, again and again, because you want to be in that space. So as much as we embrace the fact that, okay, I understand the identity is a suffering, there is also a big aspect, that emotion, because it is because of the emotion, whether you make things happen or you break. If I want something to manifest, what is the one thing that works in manifestation is the feeling. Without the feeling, you cannot fast track it. You have to express that, release that feeling as if that manifestation, whatever you're looking, already happened. That's when it starts to, it gives, because feeling is the only language your subconscious understands. Feeling is the only language that universe understands. So as much as we love the concept of thoughts, we understand the action, there is a feeling in between that you have to carry. If you do not carry the right feeling, your intent will never come true. So the more and more we start to process this information, the idea comes to mind that, okay, how do I ensure that my emotion is in line to my state, right? Every one of us, hey, how am I expressing my emotion? Am I suppressing my emotion? Am I reacting, overreacting, underreacting? So a lot of these things are happening every single moment to moment, right? In some moments, you may be balanced. In some moments, you are overly acting. In some moments, you are underly, decisive. So trying to identify and trying to withdraw yourself into that observation mode will start to release all that whatever we are carrying within you. It is not only helping me in my present situation, it is also releasing everything that I have held up in my past. Right? So what I want you to do now is please take a pen and paper if you have it handy. Okay? Let us do this. It's called somatic awareness exercise, right? Somatic awareness is basically we are trying to recall a movement, a feeling of emotion fully, and then trying to kind of jot it down to really see how we want to track that. Next few minutes, right? Please recall, bring to your mind a recent emotional experience. Just jot it down. Okay, it can be an anger related, it can be fear related, it can be something you got hurt, or it can be some sadness that you're carrying, some kind of a trauma that you are holding on to, some uncomfortable situation that you have dealt with, right? just gently, while you are jotting it down, right? Just have that feel, it's like, okay, when you are writing that down, see how your body is feeling that. Where do you feel that when you are writing that down, that uncomfortable, like, your chest is getting heavier, or your stomach is kind of, you have a like little bit of a cramps there, or your throat is choking a little bit. What is that when you're writing it, very sincerely? What is that you're feeling, you're going through? If you want, you can close your eyes once you write it, and then also have a feel. The idea is not to really go through this. The idea is to, yeah, heaviness in mind, yes. Just put it in the chat if you're okay with it. Your knees get little bit pain. Some will have heaviness. Hands become little sensitive when I wrote that. Whatever it is. Pain in stomach, yes. So now what I want you to do is, okay, now that you have written, I hope that you have written your emotion, whatever it is, jot it down, and then you you were able to feel that in your body. Now let us take this to the next level, right? Now don't think about it. Think about that emotion, what you wrote, okay? Just feel the raw sensation within you. The sensation that you felt, heaviness in the chest, or, like, whatever the sensation you felt in the stomach, in your throat, in your legs, in your hands. It is very, very important. Don't align to a story. Don't analyze it. You don't need to analysis, paralysis, anything. Only sensation. Just feel that sensation. That's it. Shivering in hands. Yes, please. Just feel that sensation. Do not think about the story. Do not think about your emotion. Just feel it. Starts pain. Yeah. Yeah. Just don't put anything. Just feel. That's it. Just be there. Just close your eyes. If you want to get more focused, if it helps, close your eyes. Just observe that sensation. That's it. Nothing else. Don't do anything else. Just observe the sensation. Watch without reaction, without any judgment, and without any identification. Just become a witness of that sensation. That's all we are doing here. Next 2 to 3 minutes. Just do that. Just observe. Nothing else. No reaction, no judgment, no identification, no story, no analysis. Just the sensation and observation of sensation. Last 30 seconds. Just observe it. No judgment, no reaction. Just be a witness. Last 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Slowly open your eyes. What did you notice? Anyone? We'll just take a minute to cover that.
Stories telling.
What is that?
Immediately, the mind started storytelling. So I have to keep on watching the. Because of you are there, there is no fear. So I'm able to observe it. Otherwise, normally, if we sit alone by ourselves and observe the emotion and sensation, today I observed a lot of stories going on.
Yeah, if you, so what it means, madam, is you need to observe a little more. That way the story part will die and then you're just observing. Someone said release of pain. Excellent. That's it.
Headache in between the eyes.
Yes. What happens, madam, is two things that have happened to you with this exercise. Number one is you have probably observed, each of you, as you have attentively wrote down your emotion. The moment you wrote down the emotion, there is this factor that comes into play where you have felt the sensation moving in your body. What is emotion? Emotion is nothing but energy in motion. While the triggering mechanism has created something, the moment you recalled it, there was something moving in your body, the sensation, the feeling, whatever, right? That is the energy in motion. That is the emotion. It is actually the emotion that you caught. Number one. Number two, when you observe that emotion without any identity or any label or any story, that transforms. Whatever you observe transforms. The later part of it was for you to just observe it, watch it without judgments, without anything. When you do that, that energy transforms. So you have just released that emotion, whatever you are carrying, whatever may be that, you've just released it. That's why some of you are saying that, okay, release in pain. This is what emotion is all about. If you are able to observe it, you are releasing it. If you are holding on to it, you are expanding it. It is such a simple thing, but the mind makes it so complex that, as if this is the end of the world kind of. Once you understand why awareness is the most important thing in one's life, you will start to experience this awareness all the time. What you observe consciously transforms automatically. That's the rule. That's a spiritual law. So here, there are three things, right? There are three levels of reactions that we have. When we are reacting, the reacting is happening at three levels. There is a unconscious level of reaction, which is a reaction that is most likely instantaneous, right? Unconsciously, just spontaneous, just do it, that's it. And you realize after the fact. And there is a semi-conscious level of reaction. When you are doing it, you actually expressed it, but then in that moment you realized it and you withdrew yourself. That like either it can be a suppressed activity or it can be a justifiable activity where you are trying to see, depending upon the semi-conscious level, how you have reacted to it. And the third one is consciously reacting. Conscious reaction is basically you are observing silently. You are observer there. You are just a watcher. That's what you did just now. So awareness always brings light to us. When I say light, means that knowledge, what you need in that very moment, that requires you to transform it or release it, or kind of dissolve it, that comes to you in that moment with awareness. And when that awareness has a light, that light dissolves your emotional density. It brings down the density of your emotion almost to zero in that very second that you have observed it. That's the power there. And the beauty is it is not going to end there. Because you have become aware in that, you will not have that experience again. Because once you are in the awareness state, right, you cannot go wrong. So you're not going to go back into that emotional state. Whenever that comes, you are already, because you have practiced that awareness, you are in that awareness, those things will not bother you ever again. Those emotional aspects of what you just went through. Right? So when you observe your anger deeply, okay, it loses intensity. It loses the intensity. The moment it loses the intensity, it will disappear. That's a natural way to happen. It cannot sustain anymore. It will disappear. You can try this. Next time, whenever you get angered, you try this. When you observe your anger, it loses the intensity. The moment it loses the intensity, it will disappear from your system. It cannot sustain anymore. So once you practice this, what happens? Whenever you get anger, you are already in the state of that awareness. You're disappearing it. That's it. So that state is not gonna, that anger as a emotion is not gonna bother you anymore. You will express it. You express it when there is a right need of it, but not necessarily out of control, out of judgment and all that, right? So you'll be absolutely aware. And there is also a lot of misconception here, right? There is illusion about emotion. There is a lot of common disbeliefs, right? We all say, hey, I have, a strong emotions are your weaknesses. No, it is not like that. Spiritual people, they should not be feeling any type of anger. They should always be calm, silent. Their tone should be like, it's like, so I don't know what you call, right? Tuned towards, hey, Baba. These are all misconceptions. That is not how it works in the real world, right? If you are allowing sadness to come to you, then I'm going to be down. I'm done. I'm like nobody. I should not be allowing anything that. No, it is not like. Nature gives you all these as opportunities for learning. Every challenge that we face in this life is an opportunity for us to learn. If everything we see as a problem, then there is no learning, right? That's why it is important to have the knowledge and accept that there is a learning that's coming out of every challenge that we are going through. Whether it is good or bad, doesn't matter, right? So it is very important to note down. Please make a note of this one. Awareness cannot hold any emotion, period. Put a period too after that. So emphasizing that statement is very important, right? It is very important to understand that when you are in that awareness, it cannot hold any emotion. On the same line, emotion becomes overwhelming when identity fuses it. You fuse identity with it, emotion will become overwhelming, which we all are experiencing in our daily lives. So now let's spend few minutes trying to understand. We spoke about awareness, we spoke about emotion, right? Let's try to differentiate that, right? I'm going to take anger as a classic case here, right? My anger is present. Okay. Now the question every time, I don't want you to challenge while you're having it, but at least think about it, right? When you're in your mental space, when you have time, think about it. When you have anger is present. But so anxiety is also same lines. Fear. Instead of anger, you put fear, that is anxiety. The outcome of fear is anxiety. Anger is present, but what knows that anger is present? That's the question you should ask to yourself. What is that? That is knowing that anger is present within me. And is that knowing, whatever is that knowing stable or is it moving? Whatever is knowing that my anger is present is very, very stable. It is not moving. It is just knowing. What is moving is my emotion. Emotion is energy in motion, right? So if I put a context, a difference between these two, how awareness looks at in this particular case versus how it looks like an emotion, my anger is an emotion. That is, that state of sensation is moving, but the knowing, the person who knows that it is present, the entity that knows that it is present is the awareness. Awareness never moves. Awareness is always stable. Before the emotion, during the emotion, after the emotion, it is always stable. This realization is very, very critical. Right? You are aware. When you are awareness, you are about to start the drama. You are in the drama. You are after the drama. You are not changing. You are just there. That is awareness. Whatever is happening right in front of you in all those three phases of it. But awareness is stable. You are stable. So the question is, who is going through it? So that's what we are trying to unwind today, right? That's why this realization of awareness is very, there is something called awareness within you. You have to differentiate that with everything else. Right now, we clubbed everything together and put this in one box. And the whole purpose of meditation is to differentiate that. Why we are doing meditation is only for that awareness. You are putting your entity or your attention on the awareness aspect of it instead of objects, subject-object differentiation. Like, you imagine, you see the sky, you see the storms, right? So imagine you have a cloudy storm in the sky, okay? You have a very cloudy storm in the sky. If I put this context and then try to put in relation to what emotion and awareness is, right? So emotion is basically the storm in the cloud. Okay? It's just emotion is considered as a storm. Awareness is the sky. So look at it, right? Does sky resist the storm anytime? It doesn't. Storms will come and go all the time. Storms pass. Sky remains untouched. Similarly, all the emotions, whatever is happening in the space of awareness. And that space of awareness are you, the real you. If it is affecting you, means you are identifying with it. That's why it is affecting you.
His awareness is thoughts. It's not thoughts, correct? It's just touching it.
No, thought is in the mental space. That's a totally different thing. You just experienced awareness, right? Like I said in this example, try to put a relation to this. Sky, storm, clouds. Clouds are your thoughts. Storm is the emotion. Sky is awareness. So you are the awareness. In that space of awareness, you are getting a thought like a cloud, and that is having an emotion like a storm. It's happening. So the whole process is happening in the space called sky. Does sky affect because of any of this? Nothing. Similarly, when you are in that state of awareness, when you start to practice to come to this awareness, nothing will affect you. It cannot.
So,
Because you are beyond all that. Because of your false identity, you are identifying to emotion, you are identifying to the thought, or you are suppressing or you're resisting. That's why they are reacting. And that reaction, you are going through it because you went and hold on to it. If you see a fireball burning right in front of you, nothing happens to you. You're just seeing it. You go and hold it. What happens? You burn your hand. Same thing is happening here. So what we'll do now, right? We'll do little more of the conscious observation. We'll do meditation, right? We'll do 5-10 minutes of meditation, right? I will give you a guided kind of a thing where you are able to attentively observe your emotion within you. And we should not label it. We should not control it. We should just observe. Okay. Let's do this. And then I'll kind of take you into one other pattern too, just to get you the feel as to how this works, how this concept works, why truth healing is a permanent healing. Okay. Take off your glasses. Sit comfortably.
ఒక్క డౌట్ ఉందండి, ఒక్క క్వశ్చన్ అడగొచ్చండి?
What was it?
ఒక క్వశ్చన్ అడగొచ్చండి?
Yeah, question. Yeah, go ahead.
ఇప్పుడు మీరు అన్న దానికి ఇప్పుడు ఆపోజిట్ పర్సన్, we know that somebody is getting angry on us or anything else. We know that he's angry or upset or anything. So when we don't react, they increase it more and more. So అది ఎట్లా హ్యాండిల్ చేయాలండి?
ఏంటంటే it is the nature, right? You are reacting means then you are also in the same state.
No, when we
You are
don't
in the higher
react,
state.
when we don't
That's-
react, they keep on doing it. So
Let's see, at some point it has to come down, right? You don't have to see it's not like tit for tat, right? If somebody is showing you an anger, you don't have to show back the anger. You can have in a very subtle tone, give the response. If you are in the awareness, right? If you are in the awareness, you are able to give the response in a very subtle way so that that anger does not come back to you again. And the second thing, the person, when you are carrying that energy, the other person cannot keep coming back to you. The reason why he keeps probably, or he or she comes back to you again and again, is because you are expressing that energy is within you. You may not be saying it out loud, but you're feeling it inside.
okay.
Right? You should not be feeling it either. Feeling is the most important one because that's where the emotion, right?
Okay.
Emotion is like a storm in the sky.
Okay. Suppressing those angers and thoughts. That's all.
Exactly. So you should be reciprocative to the fact that, okay, this person is doing it and you have to have a subtle way to express it, not necessarily showing the anger back. Then you do that, then that energy will automatically, the exchange of energy will automatically take care of that situation.
Thank you.
That's why it is important to be in the state of awareness.
Thank you.
So,
No.
నాదో క్వశ్చన్ అండి.
Yeah.
సో ఈ యాంగ్జైటీ, సో దీన్ని కూడా జస్ట్ నోటీస్ చేయమంటారా? అంతేనా?
Ante. Anxiety is coming. Why? Go to the source of it. That's what this is all about, right? Let's not try to work on the effect of it. We are always trying to, look at the situation and then work on the effect of it. There is only so much you can do on the effect, but you got to go to the source of it. What is the source of that anxiety? You have to sit down and then see, okay, why am I getting this? What thought is creating this anxiety for me? What emotion is creating this anxiety for me? When you reverse it, you will start to quickly realize what is the source. When you know the source, you sit on the source and you say, okay, I'm going to start to observe this source. It has to dissolve.
సో ఇన్ దిస్ కేస్ అన్సర్టనిటీ
Or
అనుకోండి.
anything. Uncertainty, exactly. Unknown fear. Yes. Unknown fear. Why is that unknown fear coming to you? Because you have an identity. Right? Or you're expecting something. You may be enjoying something today, and you see that future you may not have that. You're creating, you're planning, you're imagining, you're creating a 1-year plan, 2-year plan, whatever, right? So what happens when you're trying to go into that unknown territories? You have obviously a little bit of an uncomfortable state. In that uncomfortable state, you'll start to fear, okay, What happened now? You corrected your future to your present, and you are living in the present. And since your future is unknown to you, that fear naturally comes to you. So stop identifying to the future to so much extent that it is disturbing your present. Start observing it. Why am I doing it? You start questioning and start observing it, it will dissolve.
So live in the present, but start observing the future.
Living in the present is a must, is like given for all of us, right? You want to avoid fear forever, then live in the present. And worry, you don't want any worry, then forget the past, right? But when things happen to you, you start to reset yourself, come back, pause, and then look at it, then they'll dissolve it. Just come to the awareness.
Okay.
Which
Thank
is
you.
what we'll practice. Yeah.
Thank you.
So this meditation, take off your glasses and sit comfortably.
Yeah, and Master's, quick thing, if you have any questions, we'll just take it at the end, just to make sure we keep with the flow. Thank you.
Yeah. So sit down, close your eyes, take off your glasses. Take off your glasses and sit comfortably. Close your eyes. Observe your breath. Just observe your breath. Just observe your breath. Tell yourself you do nothing, you want nothing, and you are nothing. Just let it go, everything. Just empty yourself, relax yourself. Now slowly bring your attention to any emotion that is present within you. The one that you jotted down earlier, if you have a recall of that, that's fine. Just notice that emotion. Like the way we have gone through it in the past. See, the moment you notice that emotion, how does it feel in the body? How does it feel? It's a subtle way to identify it. The sensation, the feeling, how do you feel it in? And watch without interference. Just watch. Take your own time. Just watch the sensation or the feeling in the body when you have the emotion in you. Let it be. Don't label it. Just feel it. Don't label it. Don't try to control it. Let it move. The sensation is moving left to right, up to down, or in the same space, different ways. Let it happen. Let it move. You are just the observer, not the emotion. Just observe. Don't do anything. You are an observer. Observation is key here. Now, the deepening question. Who is aware of this emotion? If you see as observer, this is a very core transformation, a moment of transformation for all of us. If you are able to be an observer and looking at that as an emotion, There is a beautiful transformation that is happening right now. Just be in that state. Enjoy the presence. You're releasing a lot of unwanted, uncomfortable, de-stressing yourself in the process. Just be in that state of awareness. As you get more comfortable, we will do one other experiment. Let us allow and let the energy flow. It is a very simple truth that what you resist persists. What you allow dissolves. Let us experience that. If you can bring back your emotion, just now allow it completely. Give it the space needed. Let the emotion expand. If it wants, just fill with the emotion. I want you to notice when you allowed it completely, you gave it the space to expand. What do you notice? Is the emotion changing the shape? Is that emotion moving? Is the emotion reducing? Just be there. Just notice what is happening. Last 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Slowly, whenever you're ready, slowly come out. What you observe is a direct experience of the energy flow. Whatever may be, whether that emotion is changing, it is having a different shape, it is moving, or it is reducing, you're feeling that energy flow right now. That energy flow is what it is. When you allow that energy to flow, it dissolves. But when you resist that flow, it creates distraction. It not only creates the distraction, it also creates a block. Over time, when you keep doing that, it creates a block, and then block becomes suffering. So in this example, as a practice, if you start to see, right, how awareness is helping me to become a divine, or awareness making me to liberate or get to freedom, every single thing that you start to come into the awareness, everything is shifting within us. Always there is some shift happening. Always there is transformation happening. Such a beautiful thing. The very anger that I am expressing has got a lot of energy in it. If I am able to observe that, I have the clarity and I have that power. If I have the fear as an emotion and I'm expressing that fear as a fear, then I'm losing a lot of energy. Attentively, I'm, unconsciously, my attention is going to the fear and I'm losing a lot of my energy. If I'm just aware, I can bring back all that energy and use it wisely for my growth. Same thing, compassion, sadness, right? Instead of trying to be so sad and go into depression, try to be more compassionate to yourself. Same thing, judgment, jealousiness, everything, whatever you put it. If you have a little more self-understanding, you don't fall into the prey of all these things. The lower vibration cannot disturb us anymore because we are in the higher state of awareness. So don't look, the truth behind emotion is not our enemy. It is an opportunity or a doorway for higher awareness. Every time you are releasing that emotion, you're leveraging and you're coming to that awareness, you're basically going to the next state. It's such a beautiful way of doing it. So always try to bring that emotions back and then try to work on the emotion instead of trying to take it out. If you are trying to oppress it, or put it in a different energy state, it is going to get stuck with you and it's going to create a lot of uncomfortableness. You have to shift it. Find an opportunity to shift. In a way, it is not holding you up. It is releasing you. Right? So today's discussion, is not about trying to make sure that, hey, I understand there are emotions. Life does not run without emotions. Every one of us have emotions, whether we know it or not know it. Consciously or unconsciously, we always have emotions, right? We always create them. The question is, what emotions did I observe today? Where did I feel it in my body? What happened when I observed it? Those are the moments that you want to capture. The reflection is more important than the entire exercise, right? The exercises, whatever we have done for 45, 50 minutes now. But I think what you need to reflect on, what emotions did I observe? Number one. Number two, where did I feel it in my body? For that emotion, what was my feeling in my body? And what happened when I observed it as awareness? And the final thing for us to remember, you are not your emotions. You are the space in which emotions rise and fall, arise and dissolve. That space is awareness. That's why truth is a wonderful way of healing yourself naturally and permanently. No other healing technique in this world can help like truth. So the lesson for today is emotion is not your enemy. Emotion is a trapped life energy. Remember that. It's a trap. We trapped it by blocking it with our knowing or unknowing consciousness. When consciously felt, it will integrate. When resisted, it will repeat again and again, again and again. And again. So don't fear for emotions. Just understand energy. Emotion is an energy, right? Learn to be a conscious observer. That's the best way to release it. Always experience yourself to release that naturally, all the emotions. Move from the space of reaction to awareness. All right? We have about 4 minutes before we start the meditation. Srilata Madam, any questions?
One question is there, Master. Observing slowly sleepiness descend.
What is that? Observing?
Observing slowly, maybe that does sleepiness descend? Maybe that is the question.
I think that was the comment for earlier thing, what they were feeling. The question is, I think, Srilata, there is one more question.
Yeah.
Has a question.
Do we need
No,
to
I'm getting sleep while observing those, the witnessing, giving attention to the awareness. Initially, the drama was going, so I was going back to the watching the awareness, and then I feel sleepy.
So there are two things, man. If you're getting sleep, just sleep. And then when you are awake, try to be observer again. The second thing is do a little more meditation, you won't sleep.
The next question is, do we need to be in awareness state only when we feel emotion or 24 hours?
Only if you are in the emotion? Sorry.
Do we need to be in awareness state only when we feel that emotion, particular emotion, or 24 hours do we need to be in the awareness state?
24 hours, you're supposed to learn to practice to be there. If there is any state that you want to be, that is awareness. Every other state is only blocking and bending and putting you through the problems, right? So we are experiencing life. Why is life not celebration? It's because we are not in awareness.
And the third question is from
That's the
Srikanth Master. So we should not think about the future at all to stop the anxiety.
Think about the future is like it's like, you don't want to overthink about your future. You want to just think about it and leave it there. What we do is we do over planning. When you do over planning, your mind gets excited and it creates a connection to the present moment. Neither you enjoy your present moment, nor you live in the, because if you not live in the present and your future is giving you a grief or a worry or a fear, then what kind of enjoy? Why do we need to lead that, right? That's a question you need to ask. So if I'm planning too much for my future, if it is disturbing my present, what's the purpose of planning that? So if at all you want to plan, you plan it for the near term, not for the way too long term. Yeah, you can have goals that, hey, I wanted to build a pyramid. Those are fine. They are there as goals. But what you need to look at is if that goal is disturbing, having that goal is bothering every moment by moment, and your present is getting disturbed, then why have that goal? So that's the knowledge aspect, understanding that we need to have. And then when you plan it to the near term. That way you don't go into that kind of looping.
One more question, Master, from Rajni Master. How truth will be a way of healing? Can you please elaborate on that, Master?
How truth is, that's all we are doing, right? Awareness is truth.
Yeah, is truth will be the way of healing? Yeah, maybe that is the question. Is truth the way of healing?
Truth is the
Okay.
permanent way of healing.
Okay, so that means awareness itself. Okay. Yeah, I just
Awareness
got
itself.
confused between awareness and truth. Okay. Thank you, Master.
Any other thing is only bandage. Remember, it's only
Yeah.
temporary path. Your all other healings that you see out there, Reiki healing or any other medical or alternate medicines, counselings and everything, all those are only working on the effect. When you already are suffering it because you have an identification problem, and you are trying to patch that identification, is all other healing stuff. Irrespective of how much you patch the misidentification, you will continue to have the suffering, right? Temporarily, you will relieve. Yes, all healings are important, but we should know they're all temporary. If I want a permanent fix forever, then it is truth with the awareness. When you drop your identity, then there is no suffering.
Yes, Master.
All right.
That's
Good,
all we. That's all we have.
Excellent. Thank you, masters. Let's sit and do meditation. Please sit very comfortably. Now, today you have experienced emotion, you have experienced the motion of energy, and you have observed how it dissolves it. So just now use your breath. Intellectually, we got the understanding. Now let us use the breath to get to that awareness, to be in that state of awareness. Awareness not only fixes the current state, it also creates a beautiful environment where you are living with higher energies, with love, with peace, with compassion. Close your eyes. Bring your attention to your normal, natural breath. As you deepen your understanding, become aware that you are not the body, you are